Okay, machine applicators, let's get going. What we're gonna do first is take our applique placement guide right here. This is for block 8 and block 1 of our trees. And we are going to get to work. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna turn this way. So the pieces are longer than they are wider. So let me make sure I'm in the shot for you. Yep, you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you can use a light box if you want with this. Or you can do it like I'm doing. I'm just gonna, because the fabric is white, see, I can see through it. I think you can see through it too on the camera. So we tell you to cut a piece way bigger than you need. See, you have tons of fabric, right? And so what you're gonna do is just make sure that you're covering this outer line because that's gonna be your trim line. This inner line, just to let you know, is going to be the line that is your finished piece, right? So when you have your 1/4 inch seams of the block sewn together, that's gonna be the size of your block, but you're always gonna trim on the outer line. So we're just gonna put our piece of fabric right over it. And again, we already pressed it, but just give it a little press. And you can iron right over the paper. It doesn't hurt it at all. And from our little bowl, we're gonna get 2 pieces. We're gonna get our tree. And then, y'all, I seriously just had to go up to mom and ask her what this is called. I'm losing my mind. A tree trunk. I could not think of the word. I just kept thinking tree stump. I don't know. Maybe I need to take some memory pills. And what we're gonna do, you can see the pattern is numbered, right? So number 1 is our brown piece. This tree's super simple. We're just gonna put our little tree right in place. Now, I'm gonna show you right now how I'm doing it straight onto the fabric. And then the second one right here, I'm gonna do with a pressing sheet. And I'm gonna show you how to build a unit, okay? So I'm gonna give you 2 different ways to do it. But this, because it's just 2 pieces, I think it's pretty easy to get it right on the fabric. So we're going to iron this, and it takes just a few seconds. There we go. And then now we're gonna put our tree in place. So you're just gonna use the lines, and with something like this where there's a lot of like shape to it, right? I'm gonna make sure that I have all of my tree branches in the right spot. And then I'll just start securing it slowly. There we go. And to the top. Perfect. See how easy that was? Oh my gosh, piece of cake, because it's already cut out for you. So now this piece is totally ready to use, right? We're ready to sew it. So I'm gonna set it aside, and remember, this is block 8. Now what I'm gonna do is get my second piece of fabric, but what I'm gonna do first is build an applique unit. So I'm going to grab my pressing sheet, and actually I'm gonna pause because I have a huge pressing sheet and I want a smaller one. So pause and I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm back, and let me show you what I'm gonna use. Now we used to use Fusa mats exclusively, and they are gone. So you can't get them anymore. So we're like, what are we gonna do? Well, lucky for us, we found something that's just like a Fusa mat. This is called a precision fusing mat. It's made by, I think they're called Precision Quilting Tools. Yep, we carry this on our website. What's really cool about it is when you open your box, I'm opening this for myself. I'm gonna keep this one for me. When you open it, you'll see not 1, but 2 pressing sheets. So let's talk about that. So this first one, when you open it and you feel it, it's almost like sticky, right? And that's cool when you're building applique units, especially when we get to the gnome, you'll see how great it is. No, it doesn't apply so much to the trees. And then the second piece that you have is this awesome Teflon sheet. And so honestly, sometimes it just depends on my mood, which one I want to use more. I tend to put my pieces on my precision mat, and then sometimes before I iron, I'll cover it with the Teflon. So it's just really great. The Teflon's really good at protecting your iron. So I'm gonna set the Teflon one aside. And what I'm gonna do now is take my fabric and set it aside. And I'm gonna show you the concept of building a unit, okay? So with 2 pieces, there was no really need to build a unit, right? You can't really mess that up. And here you can't really mess it up, but you know, you can kind of build a unit if you want. So I'm gonna show you that idea. When it gets to the gnome, you're really gonna like the idea of building a unit. So what we're gonna do is get our pieces, and we're gonna build our unit directly onto this mat, okay? See how nice you can see through it? So just like before, we're gonna put our little tree trunk in place, and you'll see it kind of sticks to it because this is tacky feeling, you know? And then we're gonna get our tree. We're gonna put our tree right in place. And again, make sure that he lines up everywhere. I'm gonna shift him just a little. There we go. And now the only place I'm gonna iron right now are where my two pieces meet. So just with the tip of my iron, I'm connecting those. Okay, and now we wanna add our two little baby snowflakes on. So we're gonna get those out. See, you have the two smaller ones. The large one goes with your gnome. And so we are going to line it up. So you'll see, get that one in place. There we go. And we're just gonna gently press that. There you go. Not very long, just for a second, because we're gonna secure it for real on our fabric. And then we'll get another one right there. All right, and just press him for a second. Okay, cool. And now we do the little shake. I kind of lift it and shake it. So you don't want to burn your fingers, right? And what we're gonna do is just gently peel this off. And you want to be real gentle where it connects. And then just peel up and take a look. We have one perfect tree unit. So now what we can do is set our pressing sheet aside. Now we're going to put our fabric in place. So just make sure you have your fabric where it's covering, again, the whole outer edge. And again, you see how much extra you have? Tons extra. Give it a little press. I have a little wrinkle still. And now, in one fell swoop, we're gonna connect this to our fabric. And you'll see when we do the gnome itself, this block 2 that we're about to do, you'll really start to see the advantages of building your unit first. All right, so now it's perfectly in place and we're gonna iron down. Yay, our little gnome forest is starting to take shape. I love it. I am so obsessed with this quilt. I hope that you all are gonna have so much fun stitching it, because I know I am. Alrighty, take a look. All done. Now, wasn't that so simple? All right, so even if this is your first applique quilt, the pieces are nice and large and really easy to stitch. And when there is a piece small, like this little snowflake, you'll see that we're just gonna do straight line stitching in it, right? So I'm gonna set this aside, take my page aside, right? Because we're done with that page. And now I'm gonna get out my little gnome. Check it out. I love my gnome. And now we're really gonna build some units, okay? So let's talk about the units we're gonna do. If you look at your pattern, you're gonna make sure that you have the right size fabric. It's gonna be the one that is 10 by 14. And you're gonna make sure you gather that. And of course, it's the last piece of fabric left from this kit, so you know that's what we're gonna use. Again, I'm gonna make sure I have it nice and pressed, it's ready to use, and I'm gonna set it aside because we're gonna build units. I just go over that so I make sure everyone knows we're on the same page with what we're gonna do. All right, so let's line this up. Oh, good, you can see that really well through my pressing mat. Awesome. So let's talk about the concept of units here. So what I'm gonna build first are my little, like one leg and one leg as a unit. Then I'm gonna build this body together and add on the hat. And then on my fabric, and we'll build our little bucket. Then on the fabric, we're gonna connect all those units, okay? So let's get started. I'm gonna gather pieces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me get my big pieces set aside for a second so I can get in here and really see what's up. They're sticking together. Okay, so we have our 2 shoes. We have the 2 little like socks, if you will. And then we have our 2 legs. Alrighty. So the pieces that we're gonna put down first is gonna be number 1, right? So we have number 1, so we're gonna make sure we get the right leg. And we're just gonna sit it in place. And again, because the mat is tacky, we don't need to iron it just yet. Now I'm gonna get piece number 2, which is my left foot, my little shoe for my gnome. And we're gonna put that on there. And then we're gonna get our sock. And we're gonna put that right over it. And you just wanna make sure you turn it the right way where it fits your placement guide. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. So I have that in place, right? So what I'm gonna do is where they overlap, I'm gonna press it for just a second. Okay? I'm gonna leave that sitting there. And now we're gonna work on this side. So we're gonna do piece 4 right here. So I should say, just in case I didn't, I have my Steady Betty underneath what I'm working with, right? So I have a nice ironing surface. You can do this directly on your ironing board too. If you have a light box, make sure not to iron on your light box. I really like to, it's not good for them. But if you want to use your light box, you can just take this over to an ironing surface. But for me, I can see through this just fine. And then we're gonna put piece 6 right there. And now we're gonna iron those. Awesome. And while we're here, let's make this unit. I'm gonna make number 16 and 17. So I'm kind of jumping the numbers, but it's okay because this doesn't touch anything else, right? So it's not affected by a larger unit. So I have my little snowballs and I have my bucket. So the piece that goes down first is number 16, the snowballs. And then we just put number 17 right over it. There we go. And you can see it just gently, barely overlaps. And we're gonna give that a press. Awesome. So now let's talk about another unit that we're gonna build. Let's build the gnome body, okay? So we did pieces 1 through 6 here, so now we're gonna jump over to 7. So I'm just gonna move this a little bit, right? I'm not gonna connect my units just yet. So I'm giving myself some space to work. And what we're gonna do is go 7, 8, then 9, 10, 11, and then 12 and 13. And I wanna point out that if you pay attention, this left arm and hand are underneath the body. And then right over here, 12 and 13, his right arm is on top of the gnome body. All right, just wanna point that out. So just follow the numbers and you can't mess up. And so we're gonna put piece number 7 down, right in place. And then we're gonna get piece number 8 and get this little guy right in place. And I'm gonna kind of start at the top. Make sure I have him lined up. There we go. So I'm gonna press where they overlap. Boop. And now we're gonna put down piece 9. Now when we put down piece 9, we're not really gonna be able to see 10 and 11 to line it up. But I'm gonna show you how easy it is because I made sure that they line up at the top. If you look at your lines up here, see all of your pieces are gonna line up right there. And I do that so that if you can't see through, it's okay. Get our little beard. So we're just gonna center it and see he's gonna fit and match up at the top right there. See? Perfect. And he goes over just a hair right here. So he's gonna make sure. Perfect. So now I'm gonna iron these two guys together and I'm gonna make sure to iron where my arm connects to my body. And now we just need our cute little nose. And again, your nose is gonna line up perfectly up here. See how that top line lines up? That's like a little cheat line for you. I like it. And now we need to do our right hand, number 12 and 13. So see, this really comes together so quickly. You can do it even faster at home without me talking, but I think it's fun to sew along and chat together while we're doing this. And then we're gonna line up piece number 13. Doot, doot, doot. There we go. All right, let's give him a press. And now let's talk about a cool trick that's included in this kit. When you're working with white and you put it on top of a color, see, you're gonna see the dots. Well, you don't really see the dots very much. What we did is we gave you 2 hearts. So what you're gonna be able to do is fuse your 2 hearts together to create 1 double layered heart. See that? So I'm just gonna press those together. And that way you have a double lined heart. Awesome. I love that trick. And now we can go on and connect our hat to our Gnome. Our little gnome, I just love him. All right, so my little thing is in place. And then we're gonna make sure we put our heart, just kind of give it a peek at where our heart goes. Look at that, so cute. So we're just gonna press, and make sure to press where they overlap. All right, so if you want, what we can do is connect our legs to one big unit. So I'm just gonna gently pull a leg up, and we're just gonna tuck it right under where it goes. There we go. There we go. And let's get this little leg. Isn't it so cute? All right. You just want to make sure you get them just right. There we go. And now we're just going to gently press where these two connect. All right. So just give that a press. Now we're going to be ready to put this on our fabric. So I'm going to take my little bucket, peel him up. I'm going to set him aside. Remember, we still have our large snowflake. And now we're going to very gently peel our gnome up. You just want to be real careful where all those pieces come together. See, look at that. Look at that little gnome. Oh my goodness, so cute. Okay, so I'm just going to gently set that there for a second. Move my pressing mat out of the way. And, oh, my fabric's right here. And we're just going to take it. And again, see how much fabric you have extra? Plenty of fabric, so you don't have to worry. And now we're just going to take our little guy. And I'm just going to start lining up at the bottom. And then everything else should just fall in place. Just like that. Ah, beautiful. How perfect is that? I love it. All right, so now we're gonna iron him down for real. This is the real deal. He is so cute. And I'm pulling it closer to me because where I have my iron plugged in is kind of far away, so I'm running out of cord. That's silly, isn't it? I need to unplug it before I film my next tutorial. Alrighty, and then our hat. And you don't want to iron too long, because if you do iron too long, you can actually overheat your heat and bond light. I have really personally never had it happen, but I know it can happen. Look at that, absolutely perfect. So now while everything is still in place, let's put our snowflake. Just get him right in place. And again, I'm gonna pull it a little closer to me just because of my iron. And then let's put our little bucket in place. Oh my goodness. So cute. Alrighty, so now we're gonna take a break for just 1 second. I'm gonna go grab a pen and I'm gonna show you how to put your accent lines on here so when you go to stitch, you know where to stitch. Okay, so before I go to my sewing machine, I wanna draw my lines on. So what I'm gonna use, you can use a really fine point Pigma pen. That's actually historically what I use. But now Mom has these fun things up in her studio, so I've taken one for myself. And it is a Pilot friction pen. We have these, I just need to get it added to the website. And let me show you how it works. So see, we have the line for our string of our snowflake balloon. So what I'm gonna do is just gently trace this line. There we go. For some reason, I do better pulling up. You can do it, you know, however you like to trace this. And you don't need it very thick. So you're gonna cover it. And then right here, I'm just gonna freestyle it to connect it. There we go. See how it goes over his little jacket? And now over here, we have our little bucket handle. And then we have, I can see through this right here. You probably can't see through mine on the camera, but it's snowballs, right? So you're just gonna follow the curve of your snowballs. And I'm gonna give myself a guide for stitching my accent lines. There we go, easy peasy. So now I'm ready to go. So let's talk about some stitch tips. And I don't have the quilt in front of me. I should have brought it back here. But if you look closely at the picture, let's just talk about color. Mom stitched pretty much everything with that aqua color, even the white. See, it looks really cute. It makes it pop. So the colors that you'll need will be brown and green. You'll need your aqua. You'll need black for the shoes, right? The shoes are gonna be stitched in black. And then you just need like a peach color for his nose, and then the gray for the little beard on your little guy. So cute. So the next video that you'll see for blocks 1, 2, and 8 is going to be stitch tips specifically from Mom. But before we go, let me just review what we made in this video. Look how cute. So you have block 1, our cute tree. Block 2, our happy little gnome. And then block 8. I do want to remind you that you have more fabric than you need, and you'll use the instructions included, and it's going to tell you at the end what to trim your blocks down to. All right, so you're going to end up trimming all 3 blocks before you save them in a safe place for next month. All right, I hope you enjoyed this portion of the video tutorial with me. If you have any questions at all during the block of the month, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We want this to be super, super fun for all of you. And thank you for being a member of the Gnome Block of the Month. Happy stitching!